We've all been there, saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, misreading a social cue, or simply finding ourselves in a conversation that feels painfully uncomfortable. Awkward moments are an inevitable part of social interactions, but how we handle them can make all the difference in turning an embarrassing situation into a moment of grace, humour, or even deeper connection. In today's video, we'll explore strategies for navigating awkward conversations and recovering from social blunders with poise and confidence. I'm Jo Banks. I've been a professional executive business coach for 16 years, and I'm sharing what I know. So let's dive straight in. Understanding social awkwardness. Awkwardness often stems from uncertainty, mismatched expectations, and unintentional breaches of social norms. Some common sources include number one, miscommunication, saying something unclear or being misunderstood. Number two, cultural differences, not being familiar with another person's customs or etiquette. Number three, accidental offence, unintentionally hurting someone's feelings. Number four, lack of social awareness, missing cues that signal discomfort or disinterest. Number five, overthinking and worrying excessively about saying the right thing. By understanding where awkwardness comes from, we can learn to anticipate and mitigate these situations more effectively. Strategies for navigating awkward conversations. Number one, stay present and composed. When faced with an awkward moment, resist the urge to panic. Breathe deeply and remind yourself that most people are more focused on themselves than analysing your every word. Confidence and calmness can often smooth over a potentially uncomfortable situation. Number two, use humour to diffuse tension. A well-placed joke or a bit of self-deprecating humour can often lighten the mood. For example, if you forget someone's name in a conversation, something that I do really frequently, you might say, "I have a memory like a goldfish sometimes. Please remind me of your name." This acknowledges the mistake while keeping the mood light-hearted. Number three, listen more than you speak. If you sense that a conversation is taking an awkward turn, shift the focus to the other person. Ask open-ended questions to show your genuine interest in their response. People generally enjoy talking about themselves, and this can steer the conversation into more comfortable territory. This is a top tip I use when I'm teaching networking skills. Always make conversations about the other person. It takes the pressure off you. Getting curious about the other person is the key here. Number four, acknowledge the awkwardness. Sometimes the best way to move forward is to address the elephant in the room. A simple, "well, that was an awkward moment," can show self-awareness and help reset the conversation. Number five, use non-verbal cues. Your body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice often communicate more than your words. Maintaining good eye contact as far as possible. I know that can be difficult for neurodivergent people, especially those who lean more towards autism. But if you can do that, that's really helpful. Smile reassuringly and use open gestures to project warmth and ease. Number six, redirect the conversation. If a topic is making someone uncomfortable, gracefully pivot to another subject. A phrase like, "That's an interesting perspective. Speaking of which, have you seen any good movies lately?" It's sometimes really helpful to practice those sorts of things and thinking about different scenarios to have ready to pull out in this type of situation. It can create a more natural transition. Number seven, embrace silence. Not every moment in a conversation needs to be filled with words and doesn't have to be filled by you. Learning to sit comfortably with silence allows for a more natural rhythm in discussions and prevents the need for forced or awkward filler talk. Recovering from social blunders. Even the most socially adept people occasionally say or do the wrong thing that causes awkwardness. The key to recovery is handling it with grace. So, how do we do that? Number one, apologise if necessary, but keep it brief. If you've accidentally offended someone, a short, sincere apology is best. Over apologising can make the situation even more awkward. A simple, "I'm sorry about that, that wasn't my intention at all," is often enough. Of course, some people are determined to misunderstand you, and I've got an entire video coming up on that, so make sure you've subscribed and hit the notification bell. In that case, there's little you can do. The person can choose to accept your apology or not. I had this recently. Someone was offended by something I said and clearly wanted to argue with me about it in a public forum. In cases like that, all you can do is let it go. Getting into an argument with someone who is committed to misunderstanding you is never a good idea. Number two, correct yourself casually. If you realise mid-conversation that you've made a mistake, don't dwell on it. Simply correct yourself and move on. For example, you could say something like, "Oh wait, I misspoke earlier. What I meant to say was..." This keeps the flow going without drawing unnecessary attention to the mistake. Number three, laugh it off. Sometimes acknowledging the blunder with humour can make it more palatable. If you trip over your words, you might say, "That sentence totally got away from me. Let me try again." Number four, shift the focus. If you've embarrassed yourself, smoothly transitioning to another topic can help both you and others move past the moment. Asking a relevant question or making a light-hearted comment can redirect attention. Number five, learn from experience. Awkward moments are opportunities for growth. Reflect on what happened. Consider how you could handle a similar situation differently next time, and then let it go. No one is perfect, and most people forget about minor blunders quickly. Going back to my recent experience that I mentioned earlier, I did dwell on that situation far too long, and admittedly, I let it get to me. Going over and over on repeat in my head was, what could I have done differently? How on earth did that happen? Why did I react that way? Now reflecting on it when I'm kind of out of that situation, I realised that I had an attack of what we call injustice sensitivity, something that many people suffer from, especially us neurodivergent types. However, after much soul searching and research, I always go away and research things, I realised that some people tend to use misunderstanding what you say as a way of trying to put you on the defensive. Why do some people try to purposely make you feel bad about yourself? Well, as I say many times, tearing other people down makes them feel better about themselves. Bullies build themselves up by putting other people down. It's a classic form of control. Number six, recognise that most people are understanding. Most people have been in similar situations and will likely relate or sympathise with your moment of awkwardness. If you handle it with grace, they're unlikely to dwell on it. When to move on. There are times that when, despite your best efforts, a conversation remains awkward or uncomfortable. In these cases, it's perfectly fine to exit gracefully. And some ways to do that include, number one, a polite wrap up. "It was great catching up. I need to head out, but let's talk again soon." Number two, a natural transition. If you're in a group setting, shift your attention to another conversation or activity. Number three, an excuse to leave. Mentioning a prior commitment, "I have to check on something really quickly," allows for a smooth exit. The wrap up. Awkward conversations and social blunders are a normal part of life. The key is to handle them with confidence, self-awareness, and humour, wherever possible and where appropriate. By practicing active listening, using humour to diffuse tension, and learning from past experiences, we can navigate social situations with greater ease. At the end of the day, people remember how you make them feel far more than any minor misstep. If you approach interactions with warmth and sincerity, you'll build stronger connections and feel more comfortable in any social setting. Finally, if somebody does try to make you feel bad about yourself for something that you've said or done, especially in error, remember that they're likely to be projecting their issues onto you. It's classic projection, as I've discussed in this video. I'll leave the link below. So next time you find yourself in an awkward conversation or stumbling over your words, take a deep breath, smile, and remember, you've got this. What next? If you have anything you'd like to add to today's video, or you have any topics you'd like me to cover in future, please leave it in the comments section below. I read and respond to everything and really love interacting with you all. If you enjoyed this video, please support the channel with a like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. Finally, thank you to everybody who stays until the very end, and thank you so much for your support. It really does mean the world to me.